police officer captured this disturbing footage after coming home from a long night shift. The story begins even before he got home. He had this strange feeling of being watched, like someone was following him all the way from the police station. Once inside his house, he started hearing voices, even though he was completely alone. Unsettled by these sounds, he pulled out his phone and started recording. What the camera caught next is enough to make your hair stand on end. In the footage, you can see a figure standing in one of his doorways, just watching him. The officer didn't notice it at the time, but when he reviews the video, there it is. As he walks toward that doorway, the figure quickly vanishes into one of the rooms. Now, the officer's first thought was a break-in. No signs of forced entry. No evidence anyone had been there at all. So, what exactly was standing in his doorway that night? Security at an old Mexican restaurant shared this eerie piece of footage after years of reporting strange happenings in the building. The restaurant, with its long history, had always been a place where unusual things seemed to happen after the last customer left. But this particular night, the security cameras caught something that stood out from all the other odd incidents.
Ya salió de nuevo. Ahí va. ¿Estoy bien que vaya por en medio? ¿Sí?
Sí.
¿Pero eso nunca lo habías visto, José?
No.
The footage shows what looks like a see-through figure slowly walking into the dining area. You can almost make out a human shape, but it's misty, like looking through fog. The figure moves through the room before simply fading away. The restaurant was locked up tight, with no customers or staff inside. The security team checked the building right after this happened, but found no signs of anyone breaking in. The restaurant staff believe they finally caught proof that sometimes past visitors return for one last meal. The next video was a submission and was supposedly filmed by the dashcam of a police cruiser. The officer on patrol was Ben Malik. Didn't expect to see anything extraordinary that night. However, this should change rather quickly. After driving for a while, the officer notices a strange person in the left side of the road, and it seemed that they had started a fire. Of course, this was more than reason enough to pull over for him. Based on his reports, the woman seemed to have a burning face, which the man could not explain in the slightest. And this is another case for which most people simply don't have an answer for. The man believes that the woman was performing a ritual of some sorts, and it is stated that he arrested the mysterious woman shortly after. Who knows what exactly this dashcam had recorded here? What do you think was going on? This video was supposedly captured by the dashcam of a police officer who was out on patrol this night. It was a regular shift for him up until that point. But that changed rather quickly. The officer notices something strange on the road and then drives straight through it. He felt that something was not right and turned around right after to see if anything was there. We can clearly see a mist-like apparition that seemingly seems to float right through the police cruiser. It almost looks like a humanoid form. Strange, isn't it? Reason enough for the policeman to turn around. And then this thing appears again from the right side of the screen. Many people are sure that something paranormal was going on in this recording. Was it maybe a spirit on a nightly walk? Or what else could have caused these mist-like figures in your opinion? Pretty mysterious.
This video was recorded in a hospital by a surveillance camera. On the video we can see a person walking by in the corridor, but after that a wheelchair seems to appear out of nowhere. Nothing out of the ordinary, until after zooming in a bit closer. One could think that a ghostly shape is getting off the wheelchair. It vanishes into thin air.
Project Ember shares many of his road and camper stories on his channel. He talks a lot about living in the outdoors in his trusty ride. Today was different, however. The video was supposed to be about him fixing the old fridge that broke while up a mountain in France. After taking his fridge outside to start the repairs, he noticed that his dog Lance seemed to be staring at something, but the man himself didn't notice anything.
Lance, mate. I know, but I'm really busy. It's not warm in there. Why are you warm?
This is where the scary event started unfolding.
Now, I'm sure with house fridges you're supposed to... Right, so I'm pretty sure with a house fridge, if you move it, you're supposed to leave it like 12 or 24 hours to settle, for the gas to settle. Now I've just flipped it upside down and back again, so I'm going to give it the full 24 hours, I think, to... What are you looking at? You keep freaking me out, dog. There's no one over there. I'm seriously freaked out now. A minute ago I could hear like really loud moaning, like just booming across the mountains. So I've come down to where I could hear it. Got to this old well and it stopped. I mean, that thing's wild freaky. It's like something out of The Ring. But just as soon as I got here, just from over there's no track or anything, it's just wood. This girl appeared, dressed like kind of like a monk, no shoes, and no hair, and that goes to the road. But down where she went, that way, there's nothing, and there's nothing for miles. Where did she go? I'm gonna leave.
Who could this mysterious girl have been? And why was she dressed like that? He also tells us that his dog normally likes to come up to people and likes to greet them. This time, however, he did not. He mentions that weird things started happening that evening.
Got a clue what was going on there. That was so weird. The well, the moaning from the forest, the girl, Nah, maybe there's an explanation to it all. I saw the girl another 2 times. The last time I was near the van and she was running through the forest. I left. I was gone. I was gone so fast. I didn't even pack the van away. Yeah, it's a pretty big mess in here.
It is a strange encounter after all, wouldn't you say? The following case was documented in Brazil by a group of young people who decided to explore an old abandoned asylum, an asylum founded in 1973, and which served as a place to provide care to patients with mental illnesses. But after controversial issues that occurred inside the asylum, it ended up closing its doors. Creepy stories are being told about the so-called pink room of the asylum, a place where children with certain illnesses were cared for. And those young people dared to take a brief tour of the facilities, and it got quite a bit spooky once they entered the pink room.
Já chegamos. Tô com medo! Entramos. Gente do céu. Olha o tanto que a gente andou. Olha isso. É muito grande. Agora a gente tá indo pra ala rosa. A ala rosa é a mais pesada que tem. Pra você ter noção, ele veio uma vez e não quer nem descer. A gente tá numa parte onde tem vários brinquedos. Tem vários, aí Emília. É a parte de brinquedos. 5 e essa é a ala rosa que a gente...
Não, tia.
Foi vocês. Jura por Deus, jura.
Eu tava junto com ela.
Tipo, aqui real é bem pesado.
A sudden and strong knock alerted them, and things certainly took a turn for the worse.
A rosa, que é a pior ala que tem. Gente, quanto barro no chão. Aqui é a lavagem de roupa. A gente tá indo pros outros lados, que é bem escondido da ala rosa. Que é onde o povo ficava, tipo, real presaço. Bom, a gente tá indo agora pro necrotério.
It's quite bizarre, but you can clearly see people standing on the second floor of the facilities, seemingly watching the group as they walk past. And it was certain that nobody else was there at the time, and these people can apparently be seen standing in the pink room. Was it residual spirits of those patients who saw their end within these walls?
And now we want to check out a couple of videos from James Fodder, and he thinks to have bought a haunted doll.
This creepy looking doll from Goodwill. An employee said the owner wanted to get rid of it ASAP and bought it law.
That was creepy. Was that a cloth ball? Is this a shadow figure?
And they should be over on those shelves down there.
Okay. This TikTok was recorded by a user with the name of Do Not Go In There. He's staying with his grandparents that night and agrees to go downstairs into the basement to find some canned goods for his grandma, who is cooking dinner. The basement appears to have several rooms, and it feels that the young man almost gets lost between many boxes and storage containers. Besides many dust particles, he also comes across some eerie dolls and figurines. In one of the rooms, there seems to be an unidentified liquid which has been spilled on the floor. Then finally, he obtains the pickled goods.
Okay, found him.
In this moment, an elderly man, supposedly his grandfather, can be seen in the doorway with what appears to be a hammer. It's unclear what happened afterwards since the TikTok ended, but I find it's really unsettling. Andrew B. has forwarded the following video. It was supposedly captured at an office building that was undergoing renovation work. One day, one of the security men noticed something rather intriguing going on in front of the surveillance cameras. A steady stream of smoke seems to make it out of the room into the hallway, and the security guard, as well as most of the viewers, were baffled. Could it just be some regular smoke that somehow catches the light and is being moved by a wind breeze or something? Unlikely, say many. Do you agree? Let me hear your explanation what this could be. Adrian has sent the next video, which he stumbled across a couple of months ago. The story goes that the young boy in the video was setting up his game console and he wanted to record a short clip about it. The second he gets distracted though, his cell phone can capture an odd thing. There seems to be an ominous shadow figure with a relatively small statue standing in front of the sofa. As far as I can tell, there was nobody else in the room at the time. Does anybody of you have some info about it? It certainly looks a bit creepy, I'd say, doesn't it? The following video was recorded by a driver who was taking a narrow road in the mountains at the time. He was on his way to an old village which was situated at the end of the mountain.
There's a lot of eerie stories about ghostly passengers that can be seen walking on this old road, and even the driver states that he saw some strange things on this road. The passenger of the vehicle was documenting the nightly drive, and as it happens, captured something odd on the side of the road. A faceless, bald, and very tall figure can be seen walking on the road. This thing is wearing a long red dress, which makes this recording even more creepy. They have no idea if this was just a regular person who was walking in pitch darkness on the road, or if this was something else. Quite mysterious, wouldn't you say?
The following has been shared by user BlunderDefect, and he states that the CCTV camera mounted outside and facing the car shed has recorded some really unusual light anomalies. Their night security system has been triggered once in a while because it apparently had detected movement overnight. Every time this happened, the CCTV camera could not capture any intruder, or person for that matter. Is it maybe related? Let's see. Some viewers believe that this could maybe just be cigarette smoke, for whatever reason. But many people answered to that, saying that smoke from a cigarette would be hot, so it would not rise until it dissipates, which is a fair point. And it doesn't seem to be a light reflection from nearby. But what else could it be? The movement of whatever it is pretty unique. If you have any idea, please let us know. Video was forwarded to me by Enrique and was captured by security camera in the backyard of Lacey Turner. She was walking outside of her home that night to water some of her garden plants. Shouldn't be anything crazy. After all, she's doing this every other night. This night, however, something strange appeared right behind her. Lacey stated that she didn't see anything strange at the time and that nobody was with her. It's interesting that this shadow seems to be staring at her and walking towards her whenever she is moving. Some people say it just might have been a bug on the lens. But most people think this was something else. It certainly seems like the shadow is walking here as well.
it's probably gonna remain a mystery. The following video has been recorded and shared by a group of explorers who went out on a nightly adventure. It is said that the group was hearing some really unusual noises, which lured them in this specific stretch of the forest. And it was right there where they came across a creature that they had never seen before. Some of them believe it to be a Sasquatch, others say it's something completely different. Could it be something otherworldly, paranormal even? Who's to say for sure? It's definitely a really creepy recording, whatever it was in the end, wouldn't you say? This is the CCTV recording that was obtained by the same security guard that we see on screen here, and then uploaded to his channel Jay Breezy. He states that he saw a ghostly person walking up to him, and apparently even the camera has captured this event.
Look at I saw that. I saw that. See, I saw that. And I'm like, and then it disappeared over there by the desk. And I'm like, okay. So I looked at the camera. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna calm down. So I wanted to tell the camera, y'all see that? Y'all saw that, right? I'm telling CHA, did y'all see that?
Jay thinks that this must have been a ghost, walking the lobby area, because what on earth could this have been otherwise? The following case was documented by Viviana, who states that after the passing of her grandparents, she's still regularly talking to them via a Ouija board, and she's still living in the same house they used to live in. Tonight a few strange things started to happen, as Viviana suspects that one of her grandparents was visiting again. And this is where she started documenting.
Abuela. Ay, mami. Si estás ahí, maniféstate. ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Abuela o mami? ¡Ay, la concha de la lora, boluda! Bueno, si es la abuela, que se prenda la luz. Bueno, mami, ¿sos vos? ¿Quién es? La concha de la lora, boluda. No, ya está. Anda a fijarte, Oriana. Dale, boluda. ¡Ay, boluda! No, yo no voy a ir. Boluda. Estoy holgada. Te juro que si se ve algo, me voy de este alquiler. Jodete por hablar de tu mamá. No puede ser. Bueno. Boluda. ¡Ay, boluda! ¡Ay, no! Tengo miedo, en serio. deja de grabar porque llega a aparecer algo. Yo me muero, boludo. No, 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 no. No, boluda. Pará. Quiero que sepan, estoy grabando. Quiero que sepan que no es que se corta la luz y vuelve. Porque si yo quiero prendo la luz de acá, de la pieza. Pero no me quiero levantar.
Some people stated in the comments that they have seen the presence of a woman right at the door. Could you see too? Was it perhaps her grandma? It's safe to say that one needs to be really careful when talking to these beings that you contact, as many of the responding forces harbor ill will towards the human world and want to trick you into thinking that you are talking to a loved one. Whatever was communicating with Viviana tonight might have been a demonic presence. The following case has been shared by Esquivel Jean, who's working as a nurse in a local hospital, and he states that ever since he started working there, he became witness to some extremely terrifying events. Especially the night shifts seem to be the ones giving the man lots of eerie material to record. This was one of the recorded incidents that unfolded in the lobby area of the hospital not too long ago. Just a patient in pain, perhaps? The same night, the following strange sighting was shared from the security system. Bugs are not a common sighting in the hospital, which is why they believe this to be a spirit. But the latest and creepiest encounter for the man was when the activity unfolded right in front of him the following night.
No veo nada. Miren. Miren. Acaban de ver eso. Se acaba de caer un roto. Se está moviendo esto. No veo nada. Miren. Miren, miren, miren cómo se mueve eso. Para que vean que no hay nadie aquí.
The nurses try to laugh these events off, but it is clear that something quite otherworldly must be going on here. This recording stems from a night security guard who was protecting a huge warehouse. It was his 12th night at the job, and he states that ever since he started to walk there, more and more creepy events started to unfold. This is one of his documented ones.
Ah!
It seemed that something got thrown at him which initially made him quite weary. Then, moments later, the power went off in the whole building, and he seemed to have heard and seen something terrifying. And after the recording ended, he went home straight away. Was something demonic lingering in this old warehouse? Want to follow TikTok user RV Godoy on one of his newest paranormal adventures. If you have watched my TikTok videos before, you know that he is haunted by paranormal activity in his own home. As shown in this example, a poltergeist seemed to be up for some mischief in his garage. Today the activity seems to reach a peak and RV gets a really good run for his money. The bathroom seems to inherit some odd sounds that grab RV's attention. I feel this is where a lot of the old activity took place as well. He checks underneath the sink and nothing. Viewers believe that it could actually be a demon. Notice how there is no connection between the hand and the arm. Definitely mind-boggling. The next video was sent by Michael, and he told me that he found it in the ghost video section of Reddit. It was posted by a random user, who stated that the man who recorded this was out on an urban exploration in an abandoned school building in his local area. It was midday, so he didn't bring anybody else. After all, why would there be anything scary while it was still bright outside, right? However, as he was strolling through the hallways, he noticed somebody else in the distance. Oh, and please ignore the silly screen capture in the beginning. It is pretty unclear what that person was doing there. On first glance, they were just standing there, wobbling around for whatever reason, as if on drugs or medication of some sorts. And what would a person be doing there just like that? The man takes several more peeks, before out of nowhere, there's a person coming around the corner, straight towards him, which freaks him out pretty good. Was this one maybe just homeless? The uploader was under the impression that he was there alone at the time, but can we be absolutely sure? I don't think so. What do you guys think happened here? Strange. Maybe he came across a ghost that was bound to this place for whatever reason. Who knows?